of carrying on their duties longer than the mandated retirement age. So basically, I thought that I had the energy of doing things. Secondly, of course, getting a chance of doing something in technology, that too in a cutting edge technology company like Salesforce, that seemed to be too good opportunity to pass up. And it is not that I didn't think a number of times before taking the role. I did, because, after all, having chaired the largest bank in India, you are expected to be at a particular level, and you don't really want to do something which may in any way reflect on that particular office. So I had to think about it a lot before I decided I'd go ahead with it. But I found the company to be very value driven, that they basically walked the talk, at least where their values were concerned. And the second thing was that they were very innovation centered. And that is something that already always excites me. Plus, the advantage of working with a much younger workforce. And as you can understand, working with the youngsters gives you a lot of energy. Not only a lot of energy, it gives you a lot of good ideas that also help you as you go along. It doesn't allow you to get dated, so to speak. So I think, given all of that put together, I thought this would be a
Absolutely,
good
ma'am.
step.
Any particular idea that you got off late, or any particular conversation that was of interest to you off late with, with the youngsters that you mentioned who are working in your teams at Salesforce?
So, a lot of ideas actually, and I've discussed some of these on some of the forums. One idea was regarding this unconscious bias. One of the things that we keep rationalizing to ourselves is this leaking pipeline. And the fact that, so many people join, but they leave very soon after. And this filtration process goes on through the entire career of a woman, such that, even though there are some 40% people joining at the at the very first stage, the lowest stage. But when it comes to actually the C-suite, it's in single digits, the percentage of women. And this, this leakage that happens, we rationalize it by saying all kinds of things like there are societal pressures, you are the primary caregiver, there are other things that you need to take care of, and this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, unconscious bias also plays a very large part, because women often see that they are not given the right promotions, or they are not valued as much as their equally capable male colleagues. I'm not saying that the people that are getting promoted always are worse than them, but even if two of them are equally capable, normally the weight is towards the male rather than the female for the promotion. And that is something that can be really, really hurtful and difficult to sort of accept. And the net result of that is that, women fall off the workforce. So I think, it's very important for us to look at these things. And this idea about unconscious bias, frankly speaking, I never thought that I had it being a woman executive, but Salesforce makes it mandatory for you to do a unconscious bias course before they allow you to start interviewing. And that brought to me the fact that even I had unconscious bias. So, things like that, things like, what do you mean by work-life balance? When we were young, there was never any talk about work-life balance. You had to work, and you really had to work hard in order to prove yourself. And obviously, there was no question of any balance whatsoever. And therefore, life was extremely difficult. Today, youngsters are not wary about talking about it. I'm not saying that they don't work hard. They still work very, very hard. But the fact of the matter is, they at least have it out in the open, that this is one area where I need to do better, or where I need to be more organized, or where, I have to find ways so that my work also gets done and I get some time off and I get quality time with my family as well. Because ultimately it's because of the family that I'm working. So I think, youngsters are far more conscious about these things. Of course, they're also very conscious about diets and stuff. So they make us conscious as well.
Yes,
Okay.
but I'm going to bring you back to the tech boardroom and, the sort of gatekeeping that happens in, the tech boardroom. Is it a myth? And, what is your message to women who feel the tech boardroom is still a closed door for those without a STEM background?
No, I think, you have to basically in any boardroom, whether it is tech or otherwise, the main thing is whether you're adding value or not. And the addition of value doesn't necessarily have to be in a tech organization. It doesn't necessarily always have to be in tech. Because if you ask me, I can't, at the end of the day, I can't code in order to create an application. I can't. Okay, I haven't learned it. I did a course on Fortran programming way, way, way back. I don't remember anything of it. But the fact is, what is the value that I bring? If I am bringing value to the conversation, if I'm able to showcase what are the difficulties that a customer has, and thereafter, try and make sure that the company that I am a part of is looking at those and is going to fix those gaps, then, I can easily say that I am adding value. Similarly, there are so many other practices that we had in the public sector, which I think adds value to whatever I'm doing over here in the private sector. Because in the private sector, much of the motivation is done by way of rewarding through money. But in the public sector, we do a lot of motivation through qualitative rewards. And that is where, there is a difference. And if you can match both of them, then you can have very good results.
All right, she leads the future. That's Arundhati Bhattacharya. You can watch the full conversation on our Women's Day special programming. But let's talk about Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13 awards that take center stage on the 6th of March 2026 here in Mumbai under the theme Agility, Ambition and Accent. The awards this year are shining the spotlight on enterprises that are adapting faster, thinking bigger and rising higher than ever before. Across 17 categories, India's finest MSMEs will be honoured. The winners have been meticulously chosen by a distinguished grand jury of eminent industry leaders following a rigorous agility a review in collaboration with EY. With a sharp focus on AI, climate and policy, Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13 awards will feature some of India's most respected industry voices, including Dr. Pavan Goenka, Naina Lal Kidwai, Pirooz Khambata, Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, and many more. The evening will be graced by the Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Shrikant Shinde, Member of the Parliament Lok Sabha. Let's take a look.
For many, the world only makes sense in straight lines. When it bends, they slow down. But for the heartbeat of India's economy, the entrepreneurs, the relentless builders, the bends are where opportunity begins. Where some see climate challenges, they see the blueprint for a sustainable future. Where many fear the disruption of AI, they see a new wave of scale. And where others find policy roadblocks, they find the agility to move ahead. Because success today isn't just about scale. It's about ambition and the ability to ascend again and again. This is leadership that doesn't wait for permission. It is relentless, it is precise, it is future ready. IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Awards Season 13.